Thank you very much. It's another episode of Student TV. Today we are joined by AJ Smith, the current housing and catering of the Valley University of Technology, SRC member. Yes, today we are going to be unbundling. You remember last week we had the president that came and briefed us on several issues, and then we stretched it today and decided, you know what, let us extend the invitation to further other SRC members as other issues are rising. So to ensure that we clarify and make sure that other issues are then ironed out, we called on to the Secretary General, the Housing and Catering, to come forth and give us more information on anything related to the institution and the houses and the housing and catering in the institutional forum. So my name remains the same. I'm Bafana Gift Molego, your only presenter for today. I'll be hosting you throughout, and anything else you can comment and like our page. Please subscribe to make sure that you receive notification when you have new and other videos. Thank you very much. I'll leave it up to him to introduce himself and further give us the roles and responsibilities that are enshrined within his particular office. Thank you, Mr. Housing and Catering.
Thank you first. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor. I'd also like to greet everybody at home and all students of our University of Technology. I am the Housing and Catering of the ISRC 2021. My roles and responsibility are quite straightforward. I deal with all residence issues hand in hand with all CHC. So CHC is a Central Housing Committee which composes of students which are living in different residences. So our job is to ensure that students are living comfortably, they have accommodation which is suitable for their studies. Overall, we just liaise with the residence department from maintenance, catering issues, safety of students, and everything that's just involved with residences and catering. Yes.
All right. Now, thank you. I'm just looking at the number of questions that we have for your office today, Mr. AJ. It's a very interesting office. You must know, viewers at home, students and everyone else. A housing and catering office, without that particular office, it means that the institution and students will not receive an amicable or conducive environment. So it is upon this particular office to ensure that you are catered for and your particular residence needs, your residences, the safety and security, it is enshrined in the constitution of the SRC that it is his office that then deals with that particular matter. Mr. Smith, today there's one question that has been rising after the management has then issued a communique on saying that students must vacate as soon as possible. So we then made it a situation to say that we then come bring you over, invite you, and make sure that we find amicable solutions in terms of what is happening, what is the stance that your office is taking, what are you saying in terms of taking the institution forward, what are you saying about the students that can't afford to go home, what are you saying about the students that are supposed to travel back home, spreading coronavirus. You may understand that there are students that were around here at the University of Technology and they got infected. Now the institution wants to endanger those particular students and say that those students must go back home. What is your take on that, Mr. AJ?
All right. Thank you for this question because it's going to clarify a lot of things. First and foremost, after there is a habit of UT management that I've started doing is to do things without any consultation with the SRC. So when that communique went out, there was no consultation whatsoever with my portfolio within the SRC or any SRC member for that fact. So I then, the very same day, released a statement to say that students should not go home should they want to remain in residences for factors which you have already raised, such as the spread of COVID-19, not having financial resources to travel back home. So we then resolved to have a meeting which took earlier today in actual fact. And in that meeting, the resolutions were that students will remain in residences, students who do not want to vacate residences will remain at residences. We argued various points, which included obviously the financial constraints, because you might find that students do not have money to go back home, bearing in mind that the communique was saying that they should vacate on the 27th of July, of which it's not even a month end and whatnot. So the resolutions were that students will remain in residences if they wish to do so. But one important thing that they should do, if you did not rebook, you should rebook by the 30th of July in order to secure your space for the next semester. So should you not rebook by, and bearing in mind that this is an extension of rebooking because it was once opened. So you have to rebook by the 30th of July in order to secure your space for second semester. Should you not do so, there will be a sign of proof that you do not want to return to residences in the next semester. And if you do not rebook, then you'll be asked to vacate on the 2nd of August. Reason we're waiting for the 2nd of August so that everybody can get financial means to travel back home should they not be interested in having accommodation in the residences of VUT next semester.
No, thank you very much. I feel and strongly feel that it was a great initiative, and we thank you for then taking forth up until your office to make sure that you challenge management on these particular issues that affect students. One other issue, Mr. AJ, we have recently experienced a very high number of load shedding that has transpired in main res, both in Bedworth, Vanderbilt residences, Vereeniging residences. And this particular issue has affected some of the assignments of students and their condition of living and learning. So to be clear, we feel like the environment was unfair and unconducive for students to make sure to ensure that the living and learning conditions are then progressive. So how has the SRC or your office has intervened to ensure that they provide support to these particular students that have been affected by the electricity cuts, the water cuts, and everything else?
All right. Look, so I would firstly like to say that Mainrest was not much affected by the above mentioned, but mainly the most people that were affected was external residences, your private accommodation and whatnot. So what the SRC together did was to now approach management to say that any student that failed or did not reach the 50% mark is to be given another reassessment in order for support, because we know that these factors are very important. If you do not have such factors, then it might affect your academics in a very bad way. So yeah, any student that is facing such difficulties or lectures which are not allowing them to rewrite or to make up for the test which they had missed or didn't do well during those times, to come to the SRC office or contact any SRC member for assistance, and we'll then take it from there to make sure that they have been assisted. And also bearing in mind that final months were supposed to enter on Friday. So right now we still engaging with management that let us also now extend the finalization of marks until everybody is set and they've had a fair chance to do their academics here.
Okay, no, thank you. I feel that as well has assisted a lot of students, because you must understand that it was a very unlikely situation to experience such a long vested load shedding within Vanderbilt Park, and it has also affected a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of things. So yeah, thank you very much, Mr. AJ, on that particular issue. One other thing that we are having to of our viewers at home that have been contacting us, telling us, Mr. AJ, it's the issue of the main res Wi-Fi. That particular issue has played a very vital role, and a lot of students, there were some of them that did not have data. They were not receiving data on time and everything else. What is the plan of the SRC to make sure that they assist these particular students that are residing in main res to ensure that their conditions are as the same as a student that is residing in private accommodation?
All right. Look, honestly, the system of saying that every student should be assisted 50% is applied to everybody, even though interest was not that much affected. Now, coming to the Wi-Fi issue, which is a great concern within VUT residences, particularly main res. So what has happened, there were ups and downs. Management had to start this process a long time ago, but procurement issues and whatnot, they're always astray. But what has happened in the previous month, which is June, they started an initiative of now starting to install fiber. It's not yet installed, but the process is unfolding as procurement is also taking time. But as the SRC been pushing, so I might say that probably by October, then there will be something that's tangible. But yeah, so the plan of management, actually the IT department, from the information that I've gathered from them, is that they're planning to install fiber within residences. I've seen them several times. I've worked with them, whereby we checking points where we're going to install the Wi-Fi, how is it going to operate, and whatnot. So I could say that the process has started, but yeah, so let's just give it probably a few months and the process will have something that's tangible.
Thank you very much. One other question that we want to pose to you, Mr. AJ, there are several other issues that have affected a lot of students that are staying in private accommodations in particular. So we want to know from the student's perspective, is the SRC part of the management that goes from now and then to check these particular residences that in private accommodation, does the office have power to go and check what is happening in private accommodations, have recommendations, and if not adhere to according to the accreditation, and then find findings upon that?
All right. So a few months back, I started a process of doing evaluations from residents to residents. So I then formed a task team which composed of management and ESRC. So we used to go to external residences, but those are residences which have leases with the university, and we were supposed to start those evaluations with private accommodations. But due to the fact that we have a lot of private accommodations, it was going to be time constraining, and we wouldn't be able to reach each and every private accommodation. So what we then started was to, as normal, we distribute our numbers, our details on all social platforms where UUT students can contact us if there's any problem. So yeah, my office does have powers to answer you, to go to residences together with management to view those private accommodations, what's going on, provide recommendations, and to also come up with resolutions on certain issues. Also, just to name one, there's a residence whereby I was previously contacted. There are a lot of problems. Students were given 200 rand electricity, services were very bad. So when I engaged together with management, when I engaged those people who own the place, I was told that no, it's because they haven't paid the rent. But only to find out that at the beginning of the agreement, it was said that now you can stay here without deposit and whatnot. You will pay immediately. The university gives you money. We all know that claiming takes time for some other people. So yeah, but then we tried talking to them and telling them that no, this was your initial agreement and you have to provide services. Should students get their money, they'll pay you. And at that time, other students were receiving it and they were paying them. So yeah, but that place, those owners actually refused to provide such services, and in such instances, we then take it to the legal team to tell them that, this is what's going on. Together with management, we provide these people with the deadline to say that can you fix the services at the time. Failure to do so, and if students feel that they want to move, then those students will be granted an opportunity to move to a different private accommodation, but having paid the previous months.
Thank you very much, Mr. AJ. There's one other critical question that we have of students and landlord experiencing a situation whereby they would await students to then receive their NSFAS allowances. And at the later stage, those particular students, you will find that they move from that particular accommodation. For example, Mr. AJ owns a house, you stay there from January, February, March, maybe your money comes in March. When your money comes in, you then decide to leave that particular accommodation, private accommodation. How does your office intervene in such a scenario?
All right. What we normally do, and what we actually advise, is to say that those landlords should be in contact with the SRC. And I believe that at the beginning, or when the student moves into your accommodation, you get to have their details. Also, you get to have the contract. So once you have their details, you can bring them to the SRC. We then involve the management in a sense whereby now we can also access the system. Obviously, that's when we need the management, because as the SRC, we can't enter the system and be in personal information. That's where the information will be gathered by the management. We contact the student, and yeah, we'll take it from there and we ensure that the student pays the amounts which he or she had stayed there, and we'll make sure that they abide by the contract.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Most of the questions that we've had with Mr. AJ are well responded to and were satisfied. And to all the students out there, please like, comment, make sure that you go to our comment section and ask us questions on further what you'd like us to hear, what you'd like to know. And we'll further also distribute the numbers of the current housing and catering with the enshrined powers that he then has alluded to you guys that those are the responsibilities of this particular office. People in private accommodation that are facing problems, landlords in particular private accommodation that are facing those particular problems can then contact this particular office to then deal with the particular issues that are then faced with. So his office that deals mainly with everything that has to do with accommodations and safety, security, living conditions of students. Mr. AJ, as Student TV, we fully appreciate your presence here. And with the minute that we give you, we'd like you to say to the particular students any word word of advice on the COVID-19, everything in the academics, on their conditions and everything. Can you please brief your particular students, Stasia?
Thank you. What I would like to say to all students is that as you travel back home, for instance, those who are going back, just make sure that you maintain social distancing, you sanitize, and you wear your mask all the time. This is a very dangerous virus that we're dealing with, and it is in your best interest and others to keep safe and follow all COVID-19 regulations. I also wish all the best to the students with their academics and also in returning for the second semester. Should you have any problem with accommodation or any thing that's related to my portfolio, which is specifically the housing and catering portfolio, you are free to contact me at any time and we'll avail ourselves. We wish you all the best and thank you once more for having me, leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr. AJ. We'll have to also contact you furthermore to have you again if there are other issues. One more time to all the Student TV subscribers, viewers, please like, comment and ensure that you play around our channel. This is your only TV that will represent your views and your views. Thank you very much.